Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Makosi Today. Where do I even start? The last 14 days have been evident to what the human race can do when one of us is attacked. We saw the protests across the world, and that really warmed my heart. It gave me a sense of comfort that if anything happened to me or if anything happened to my loved ones, the world is going to rush in and fight for me. Now, when I heard about George Floyd and when I saw the video, which I could not watch, but when I saw the video in picture, and then I heard that the guy had his knee on the guy's neck for over 8 minutes, what I did is I set my timer for 8 minutes 46 seconds to run on the treadmill, and I did almost 2 kilometers on the treadmill. It broke my heart. At that point, that's when I started crying. That was my first run. But then when I went for my run yesterday, I realized that I was still very angry, and this anger is not helping me. It's not helping my health as a breast cancer survivor. So God, how can I look at this thing without it eating me up? So I'd started meditating. I started doing a lot of things, but I really needed to change my perspective at how I was looking at this thing. And instead of looking at this thing from the anger portal, I started looking at it from the love portal. So I started asking myself, how can I listen to, because communication is a two-way thing. How can I listen to, and how can I communicate generational pain? How can I communicate generational hurt without getting angry? And I found that if I started looking at this thing from the love portal, not from the anger portal, I'm in a better position to educate those who seemingly would not have experienced the harsh side of reality. They would have been on the privileged side of the reality. And I realized that Jim Crow is no longer here. So we were all born into a flawed system. The forefathers of slavery are not here anymore. The forefathers of colonization, some of them are still here, but some of them are not here anymore. So we were all born, whether you're privileged or not, we were all born into a flawed system. Some tend to benefit from the flawed system, and some are dying because of the flawed system. And what I can humbly suggest, and I have to say humbly suggest, is both these people who are born in a flawed system come together, sit at the table, dismantle the system, and build a system that we can cohabit equally and in justice. As I said, I've started meditating a little bit more. I run a little bit more. I am very particular about the information I'm getting into myself a little bit more, because I really want to be that person who someone can pick up their phone and ask me, help me to understand this thing, because I know there are people who actually are thinking, but all lives do matter. And I get it. I get it, but there is a diseducation that needs to happen. We need to unlearn certain things, relearn certain things, and learn more things. Why, when we say Black Lives Matter, you don't get to say all lives matter. So the world is going through trauma at the moment. And one thing I learned about trauma, especially when I had breast cancer, is trauma always brings transformation. So yes, amplify your voice, amplify your cause. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Some people are on the streets. Thank you very much. Some people are donating. Thank you very much. And some people are just posting, are using their voice as a platform to highlight on these things. Thank you very much. There is no wrong way of doing this, as long as you're not sitting on the sidelines just waiting for this thing to be over. Because if you're sitting on the sidelines just waiting for this thing to be over, you might be waiting a very, very long time. So if you're wondering where can I start, just call your Black friend, your brown friend, and just hear them talk. And for me, the reason why I was really angry last week is I was angry, I was sad, I was hurt, I was relieved, because this is what I've been saying all along and you did not believe me. And now the world can see that this is something that really goes on. So call someone. Like, surprisingly, I have a lot of white friends, quite a lot. None of them have called. And I don't hold them to it. I know what they are probably going through. I mean, some have asked me to do Zoom meetings with them, but none have actually called and said, Makosi, how are you sleeping? How are you doing with all of this? It's gonna take us, all of us, to take care of each other. It's gonna take all of us to take care of ourselves, because if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not taking of what you're eating, if you put your immune system under pressure, you won't be able to keep fighting for justice. So until next time, take care of yourself and take care of each other.